All right, so I wanted to record this video in one take. Now, this video is going to be for me. And what I mean by that is that anytime I'm feeling a little bit stressed with business, I want to have a video where it's myself looking back, explaining why it's really not a big deal and why everything in the long term will be fine. Now, if you're in a similar situation or we're in a similar situation and you want a video that you can look back on as a business owner, feel the same way, this is for you too. But the point of this video is it's not going to be glamorous. It's not going to be that many cuts. It's just going to be me in one take explaining why it really doesn't matter that much and why business stress is mostly in your head and not in reality. So I'll get started. Mostly there's three reasons why. The first reason, and you have to really get this in your head, is that it really doesn't matter. Now, if you're a business owner, you're probably thinking to yourself, what do you mean it doesn't matter? It's everything. Your business is everything. Your employees are everything. It's your ego. It's where you get the money from. It's where you get the respect from. The business is everything. But here's what I would say to that. Yes, the business is everything, but it's also nothing at the same time. And the reason why I say that is because you have to understand it's all a big game. That's why we're doing this, is because it's fun. The highs are high and the lows are low, but the thing about it is it still makes you get in the game. It's almost like gambling, but in a way where you can provide value to the world. So when I say it doesn't really matter, what I'm saying is that in the grand scheme of things, it really does not matter very much. Also, if we're taking it from a risk parameter standpoint, the risk that you have in the Western world is incredibly, incredibly, incredibly low. And we are still evolutionarily designed to think everything is fight or flight. That if you don't get one paycheck, it's game over. Or how am I gonna survive rent? How am I gonna pay for this car? At the end of the day, there's probably a friend that you can sleep on their couch for 2 weeks. There's probably someone you could reach out to. In the Western world, you have a tremendous chance of always having food, always having water, and always having shelter. So even if we're looking at it from like the bare bottom of the barrel, rock bottom, you're still going to be fine. And that's something that I don't think most people have really primed themselves to think that way. Because when you do think that way, that allows you to take more risks because you realize, hey, even if you get to this low point, you can just start over again. It really doesn't matter very much. So that's the first point. It doesn't really matter. Now, the second point is that there's always going to be someone who's had it worse. There's this famous clip of Trump walking down Manhattan, and he's with his daughter, and he points to a homeless person and says, you know, that person is worth $900 million more than I am. Because at the time, he was, I think, leveraged like $1 billion. So when you look at it from that perspective, even if you are going through like a rough time right now, a few $1,000 is really not that much in the grand scheme of things. Everyone who's already rich at that level is already incredibly leveraged. So when you think about it from that perspective, there's always going to be someone worse. And if you think about this is a brute force quote. This is someone on Twitter who's pretty famous in these circles. He said that the people that should be stressed are never stressed, and the people that shouldn't be stressed are always stressed. And I think about that very, very often because what it means is that at a certain level of doing this for a long enough time, you kind of realize you'll always bounce back, especially if you're hyper leveraged. Somehow it always works out. I don't know how, but it is always, 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 always worked out. That's number two. And number three is that if you are going through a rough time right now, you have to understand everything is inputs driven. And you really have to reframe everything that you do in this way. Most business owners think about this in terms of just excess revenue, of filling in the P&L. But when you become very inputs based, what happens is you kind of stop caring about how much money you're making and you start caring more about what you're actually doing with your time. And the ironic part about that is I've always felt that whenever I transition from, hey, how much money are we generating versus, hey, what am I doing to help generate the money? What am I doing to help other people? The money always comes. I thought that was very, very interesting. That if you really distract yourself with, hey, what needs to get done today? What can move the needle? Are my employees good? Is everything in the client space good? What can I do right now to help out? Everything else kind of already does. So really that's the three things. I think in general, if you were to boil it all down, it really doesn't matter as much as you think it does. So again, I'm making this for myself, right? This video is going to be for me so that I can watch it whenever I'm a little bit stressed. Lord knows the last year has been crazy. But things are looking up and they continue to look up. And if you keep thinking that way, things are going to keep getting better and better and better. But if you're going through a rough time right now, come back to this. Because what I wanted to do with this video is I wanted to have something in perpetuity where I could look back at, 10, 20 years from now and think, damn, if Parker at 26 thought this way, I've got no reason to be stressed either. And so that's what I wanted to do. So if you found this helpful at all too, feel free to like and subscribe. If you'd like hearing my personal little diary, then let me know. But this video is for me, and then if you like it too, I hope it helped.